Welcome to Mia Alpha Television. In a time of fractured lands and rival kings, when power was contested with steel and loyalty was as fragile as the alliances that bound it, one man would rise above them all, not just to rule, but to unite. He wasn't meant to become king. In a land divided by power, loyalty, and war, Athelstan was just one among many. But what happened next would change England forever. This is the story of Athelstan, the first king of England.
This land shall be united under one crown. I am the first king of England!
Before there was England, there were kingdoms: Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria, East Anglia. Each ruled by men who sought power, each willing to fight to keep it. This was a land defined by conflict, where borders shifted with every battle, and peace was only ever temporary. For generations, no single ruler had been able to claim dominion over all. The idea of one England was not just unlikely, it was unthinkable. Yet, from this chaos, a foundation had already been laid. Alfred the Great, King of Wessex, had defended his people against Viking invasions and redefined what it meant to rule. He was not just a warrior, but a builder of systems, a unifier in vision. But even Alfred did not become king of all England. That task would fall to his grandson.
My prince, the northern flank is exposed. We must reinforce the river crossing.
And the eastern passes?
Athelstan was born into a world of expectation. Raised in the court of Mercia, he was not only trained in the art of war, but in the politics of power. He observed, he learned, he understood that ruling a kingdom was not just about strength, but about strategy. When his father, Edward the Elder, died, the path to power was not clear. There were rivals, there were doubts, but Athelstan moved decisively. He was crowned King of Wessex, but that alone was not enough. To become something greater, he had to command more than a single kingdom. Mercia, once separate, came under his control, and with that, Athelstan began to do what no king before him had achieved. He was not just ruling land, he was consolidating power, building something larger, something unified. But power invites opposition. To the north, the kings of Scotland. To the west, the rulers of Wales. And beyond them, Norse forces who saw opportunity in division. They would not accept Athelstan's rise. They would not bow to a single crown. In the year 937, everything would be decided. At the Battle of Brunanburh, an alliance had formed against him, a coalition of enemies united by one goal: to stop Athelstan. It was one of the greatest battles ever fought on British soil. Armies clashed, steel met steel. The fate of kingdoms hung in the balance. But Athelstan did not falter. His strategy, his leadership, his resolve proved decisive. The enemy was defeated, and with that victory, everything changed. Brunanburh was more than a battle. It was a statement, a declaration that one ruler now stood above all others. Athelstan had done what no king before him had achieved. He had united the lands. He had forged a kingdom. For the first time in history, there was England.
I have defeated my rivals. There is now England. England is born.
But conquest alone does not define a king. Athelstan ruled with authority, but also with structure. He established laws, strengthened governance, built alliances beyond his borders. He was respected not just as a warrior, but as a ruler, a king among kings. When Athelstan died in 939, He left behind more than a throne. He left behind a nation, a vision made real, a legacy that would endure for centuries. He was not just a king. He was the first king of England. King Athelstan died on October 27, 939 in Gloucester at approximately 45 years of age. Born around 894, he was the son of Edward the Elder, and he ruled as the first king of England from 924 until his death in 939. The Britain we know today was not formed in peace, but through struggle, sacrifice, and the cost of countless lives. Long before stability, there were generations who fought, endured, and shaped the foundations of a nation. Their stories are not always remembered, but their impact remains. Every border drawn, every law established, every step toward unity was built on the efforts of those who came before. Today, the legacy of England's first king lives on. The current monarch, King Charles III, was born on the 14th of November 1948. He became king on the 8th of September 2022, following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, marking the beginning of a new chapter in British history. From the reign of Athelstan to the crown that stands today, the story of England continues. A legacy shaped by centuries, and still unfolding. While Athelstan ruled as the first king of England, the crown has since evolved. Today, King Charles III reigns not only over England, but over the entire United Kingdom, including Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. A monarchy no longer defined by a single land, but by a united kingdom forged through history. And now the question is, what truly defines a kingdom? Power, unity, or the people who believe in it? This concludes this episode of Crowned Origins, The Rise of Kingdoms, the First King of England. If you've enjoyed this journey through history, be sure to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. And for more episodes exploring the rise of kings, empires, and the forces that shaped our world, subscribe to Mia Alpha Television.